Hi, I'm Miro, and welcome to Driftwood. So, Driftwood is a visual novel made by Wakagana, and it's about a boy named Marcus who transfers to Boston. And this is a dating simulator. And so, if you don't know what a dating simulator is, it's pretty much a game where you try to win a girl's heart. So, yeah. Supposedly this takes a bit of inspiration from Katawa Shoujo, another visual novel, another dating simulator visual novel. I think so. I'm not really sure about this part. So yeah, pretty much this isn't. There is no real gameplay here. There's just choices and reading. So it's more of a let's read than a let's play. I hope this doesn't bore anyone. It shouldn't be boring though. So yeah, let's get right into it. Start. Forgot to say something. This visual novel is not complete. There's just Act 1 for now. If you want to follow the developing of the game, I will link the Facebook page of the developer of the game in the description below, so go check that out. Today is a good day. The sound of children frolicking about and adults conversing fills the air, mixing with the aroma of budding flowers and recently cut grass. The sun is radiating warm light onto the grassy hill park area, and a soft rolling breeze inspires the fields of green to sway and dance rhythmically. Groups of people sit around wooden tables and talk amongst themselves, while others lie and unwind them on blankets, letting the stress of their lives leave them for a short time. It's a perfect place to play soccer or football, or take a cat nap. Or like me, you could be waiting to meet with a special someone. I've been prepping for this day for what seems like weeks. Waiting, thinking, contemplating. Wondering how I should greet her, what the first thing we will talk about will be. Yeah, it's the same thing with me when I start a video. I'm never sure as to what I have to say. I've even formed a list of questions to ask if the conversation lags. Although, I know no matter how hard I memorize the questions, I'll forget them at the moment we begin to speak. Yeah, just like me. She has that effect on me. The concept of love is gut-wrenching if you really think about it, especially for someone my age. I've never had a girlfriend and I'm going to be a senior in high school next year. I know, sad, right? This feels like my last chance to have a relationship before being swept off into the real world. A small buzz from the phone in my pocket catches me slightly off guard. I've been overthinking the whole situation again. I pull the phone out, shading it with my palm as I look down to read the text message. Mom, have a good day, sweetie. I hope you have a great time. My mother can be such a pain sometimes, always checking up on me and making sure everything is going well. Overprotective is an understatement. I sigh, deciding not to answer. Instead, I flick through my history of messages, rediscovering the text from the night before. Michaela, tomorrow at 2 p.m., near the State House. I glance down towards the time on my phone, but the sound of my name coming from a familiar voice makes me freeze. Marcus? My heart thumps a little faster and I turn as smoothly as possible. Michaela stands a few feet in front of me, blue eyes meeting my own gaze as we stare at one another clumsily. It takes me a few moments to realize I need to say something, and by then my cheeks are already heated red. Hey, how are you? My voice cracks at the very end of my sentence, and I feel like I'm just being prodded without iron. For Christ's sake, pull it together. Michaela doesn't seem to mind my voice creaking towards a high pitch. Instead, she smiles at my embarrassment. I'm doing alright. You? Oh, I'm feeling pretty good. Pretty good. Stop with the references. Damn it. She offers me a small smile and looks around, admiring the park's atmosphere before taking in a deep, relaxed breath. So, where did you want to go first? I tilt my head slightly to the side and scratched the back of my neck as I tried to remember where in all hell I planned for us to go first. I spitballed the first thing that comes to mind, which was an ice cream cart I had passed a few minutes prior. I was thinking maybe we could go grab lunch and get ice cream from somewhere nearby, maybe in either order? That sounds good to me. I know, slightly relieved that she seemed to agree with me. I retraced my steps from earlier, now accompanied by Mikhaila. Mikhaila. The only guy who's ever showed any interest in me aside from asking for help with homework. And here we are, on a date, getting ice cream. It sounds lame. But, fuck. It sounds lame, but I can't help but smile to myself in disbelief. We ordered 2 cones, one chocolate and the other vanilla. Ah, that's such a cliché. I've always despised chocolate ice cream. I have no idea why, because I eat chocolate bars or candies without any repugnance. But the moment it becomes a cold, melting solid, it makes my mouth taste sour just thinking about it. Ugh. I keep my damn it. I keep my opinions to myself though. She's welcome to enjoy what she likes as long as she doesn't make me taste it. After a moment of silence, Mikhaila turned to me with a puzzled expression. So, how come you never told me you liked me before? The question is a little blunt, but I'm forced to answer. I've known Mikhaila since freshman year, we've always been friends, hanging out and doing stuff with our friend group and such. But over the past few months I started to develop feelings for her. It was just nervous, I guess. I don't like the thought of being rejected. Well, I mean, who does? True. But what made you think I'd reject you? Poor self-esteem, I guess. I've never really gotten anywhere with talking to girls. That's silly. It's just like talking to anyone else. We talk all the time. It doesn't really feel that way, but I know what you're saying. Mikhaila sighs distantly and shakes her head. I think you're too down on yourself. You're not bad looking and you always seemed like a nice guy. She pauses and smiles at me, reaching over to delicately loop her free arm around my own, pulling me to her side. Besides, I said yes, didn't I? Isn't that enough proof that you have a chance with girls? I wouldn't go on a date with you if I didn't actually think you were a cool guy. I nod nervously. The feeling of Mikhaila's body pressing gently into me is more than enough to reassure me in my doubts, at least on the inside. If you say so. I coughed to clear my throat and looked towards Mikhaila with a still uncertain look. So, want to go grab lunch uptown? Mikhaila, unfazed by my uncertainty, simply tightens her arm around mine, smiling. Sure, I didn't get a chance to get breakfast today, so I'm pretty hungry. Didn't you get an ice cream just now? We step out on the green fields of the park and into the hustle and bustle of the busy city streets, which are congested with people walking, biking, and driving. Congested, yeah, okay. We wait at a crosswalk, licking at our ice creams and watching humanity go by person by person. What? Each living his or her own intricate lives, separate from anyone else's, yet ultimately connected. This is getting kinda deep. And here I am, standing on the side of the street with the girl of my dreams. Well, maybe that's an exaggeration, but I do really like Mikhaila. I was so worried about actually trying to make this work, but in reality, everything is going stupendously, at least for a first date. The crosswalk signal flashes white, and we cross the streets and turn, making our way down the sidewalk towards the section of Boston we both know as lots of good restaurants. We finish our ice cream and cut down a side street off the main road to shave a few minutes of the walk. Damn, today I can't read. And I say that in every video, but never mind. We could even beat the lunch rush hour if we hurry. So, what you're feeling like for lunch? I'd say we have a little time before anyone is out grabbing food. Nothing too crazy, maybe just... That was so loud. Holy shit. Her voice is cut off by the nearly ear-rupturing sound of gunshots in the building ahead of us. Yeah, it was ear-rupturing and Yeah, it was ear rapturing. It hurts. 4 repetitive pops that make my body cringe. Michaela's body has the same reaction and she falls silent, eyes wide with terror and curiosity. The street is eerily hushed for the next few moments, making my skin tingle and share with suspense. Music is too loud, too loud, too loud, too loud, too loud, too loud. Okay. A group of 3 men step out from the building and onto the cement blocks of the sidewalk with a hurried pace. The men are wearing ski masks with body armor strapped across their chest and legs. 2 of them carry briefcases and dive into the car parked parallel to the building. The last figure, also wearing a mask, falls out of the building and pauses halfway from the entrance to the vehicle. He glances up the sidewalk and then in the other direction, where his eyes meet ours. He immediately yells something out in a foreign language I can't understand, to which the man in the car responds. In the masked man's right hand is a pistol, in the left a briefcase. What looks like crinkled dollar bills are caught between the leather frame of the case. I swing in front of Michaela, arms extended to protect the person who means the most to me. I'd never be able to forgive myself if anything was to happen to her. A bank robbery? Don't still happen? All goes silent for what seems like an eternity. The foreign-speaking man and I share a long gaze, watching each other's movements, each small action carefully observed. Each breath I take infects my body with an unbearable amount of stress. Sweat trickles down my neck as my extremities grow numb. My body is stiff, motionless aside from my breathing, pulsing with adrenaline, having a slid and pumping through my veins like thick syrup. Michaela, run! I mutter under my breath for Michaela to run. She only responds with a whimper. But before I can say anything more, the sound of police sirens can be heard approaching. In response, the man raises his hand, pointing the barrel of the gun towards our heads. Marcus, tell him to stop! The man's finger tightens around the trigger of the gun. He's decided to kill us. Get down! The sound of the first bullet flying by my head is quickly interrupted by the stinging sensation of pain, drilling through my left shoulder. My body jerks back and I'm forced to lean onto Michaela for support as I feel my whole world crumble around me. The echo that rings through my ears from the 2 bullets being fired reverberates after the round has already punctured my body. It takes a long while for the sound to dissipate, but once it does, silence settles in and my sight fades to black and grey hues, my breathing unsteady and shaken. The silence amplifies the pain surging through my body. I feel like screaming, crying for help, making some kind of noise, but nothing comes out. I can hardly even breathe. I can't do anything. Is this what it feels like to die? The masked man who shot me turns on his heels and runs to the car on the side of the road. Slowly but surely my knees buckle and I feel the weight of my body squeezing down to the joints of my legs against the sidewalk. I collapse. My gaze runs upward with the last ounce of strength in my body to see Michaela trying to hold me up, a horrified look on her face, tears streaming down her ashen cheeks. Her mouth is moving, probably screaming for help, maybe telling me I'll be okay, or begging for me to say something, yet I can't hear a thing. My strength is dissipating, my body feels numb, my eyes slowly drift closed as I see black tendrils wavering in my limited vision. My neck goes limp, and I manage to catch a glimpse of the blood-coated sidewalk and street once more. The last thing I see is the car full of the men driving away, escaping the scene of the crime, leaving me to die. My vision is filled with an empty expanse, which seemingly goes on forever. Is this heaven? It can't be. I open my eyes as wide as I can, only to be forced to squint against the brightness of the blaring light, which shocks my pupils into shrinking. I blink a few times, trying to recover more of my sight from the white field ahead of me. Images begin to come into view. Walls, paintings, furniture, and the bed beneath me. As I process what I'm seeing, my hearing returns to me and I can make out the sound of people speaking. I follow the sound with my eyes. A television sits on the table across the room. It's tuned to a news channel. The fourth shooting this month, leaving 3 dead and 2 injured. Officials suspected that these attacks are linked with local gangs associated with the Mexican drug cartel. We'll update the story when we speak with the next gang member and his take on the recent events, after a short break. Where the hell am I? I lean forward, motivated to explore my new surroundings, but I'm greeted with a sharp ping that brings a searing pain across my chest, forcing me fully into consciousness. Whining out in agony against the attention of a man in a turquoise gown I hadn't noticed until now. He's standing beside my bed, pressing me back down into the mattress. At first I feel threatened and try to break away, but then my sense of smell finally kicks in. The man is wearing latex gloves. The smell of the gloves mixes with the scent of sterile antiseptic wafting about the room. It's unnatural. Based on the man's appearance, the bright lighting and the bed, I'm in a hospital. And I'm alive. I'm alive? Well, that's a strange question to ask. I think aloud, staring forward at nothing in particular as I unclog the gears of my mind. The man nods, settling me back down to the hospital bed. Yes, you're alive. I am alive. This is reality. So that means... Mikhaila! I quickly left my ass upwards towards the man, struggling to keep my words up to speed with my thoughts. What about Mikhaila? Is she alright? Who? I gag out at the thought of Mikhaila being dead because of me, and I raise my voice to a panicked yell. Mikhaila, blonde hair, blue eyes, she has to be alive. The doctor leans back in a nearby chair, a quizzical look coming over his scruffy chin face. I think I saw her visiting yesterday. She has a soft voice, very gentle. Okay, that's a really strange way to describe someone. By their voice? I mean, shouldn't you, like... You just said blonde hair and blue eyes. Can't you just say yes? Why do you ask about the voice? I mean, it's so weird. Never mind. I let out a sigh of relief, my body collapsing back into my bedding. My sacrifice wasn't in vain then. Sacrifice? I mean, you're still alive. That's no sacrifice. Yeah, that's her. You're lucky, you know. The doctor chuckles as he scans over a few pages of my patient chart. I looked to him curiously, unsure as to how I lived through the encounter. I could care less how lucky I am. I'm overjoyed to just know I'm still breathing and that Mikhaila isn't hurt. She shows me a small diagram of the human body, a circle on top of the left shoulder. You cheated that, Marcus Fick. Fick? Fake? I think it's Fick. Yeah, I'll go with Fick. I glance at him with a slightly unbelieving expression. Here's hoping I don't wake up with a horn on my head and an eye patch. Damn it, I'm still referencing things. Stop it. He offers a smug grin at my cynicism, tapping his pen against his lower lip. The bullet missed your ribcage, lungs, clavicle and spine by a few millimeters. I'm forced to look back down at the paperwork in disbelief before I instinctively try to take a look at my left shoulder, only to be met with the same sensation of pain from earlier. Ow! The doctor sits up, quickly settling my head back down in a comfortable position onto the pillow of the hospital bed. Hesitantly, I kick my legs up even if the movement itself is agonizingly painful. I feel a sense of relief now run over me again, relaxing me. I'm not paralyzed either. I make the effort to test out my right arm, giving it a slow roll and lifting it slightly before it flops back down over at my side. Just doing that was exhausting, but at least I still have control of my body. You managed to only receive a bit of muscle tissue damage, so you're not going to be able to do much for the next few weeks. Until then, rest. You need it for when your mother shows up again. She was hysterical when she first visited. The doctor provides a friendly smirk that can only be returned with my weak smile. Mom. She must have had a mental breakdown when she learned what happened to me. I give the doctor a small nod, peering back down at the diagram once more, before he takes it away, stuffing it under his arm. Thank you. It's the most I can say before I feel my head snapping back against the cushion of my bending fatigue. I close my eyes, letting myself drift back into unconsciousness. I guess I really did cheat death. The next morning I awake to the sight of Mikhaila sitting at the side of my bed, with a troubled look upon her face, staring down at my injured shoulder intently. I blink a few times, letting the drowsiness of my slumber fade away, before I offer as cheaper as sarcastic of a good morning as I can to the girl, in the hopes of cheering her up. Good morning, how long have you been watching me sleep? Michaela, startled by my voice, redirected attention from my shoulder to lock eyes with mine. Marcus, you're okay? Michaela reaches up to grasp a hold of my hand, nimbly curling her fingers within mine, with such ease it makes me feel like they were meant to hold into each other. So, this is a dating simulator, right? So, we're gonna meet other girls. So, what about Michaela? She's supposed to be my girlfriend now? So, I really don't understand. In Katawa Shoujo, the girl confesses to the main character, but they don't go out. He just gets a heart attack, and then he gets transferred to another school, and we never see her again. So that's excuse. But what about now? She's here. I guess I'll find out. Of course, my whole body grows tense, and I feel a bit warmer from the nervousness and embarrassment of holding her hand. Yeah, I'm fine. The doctor said it was just a little muscle damage or something. I'm really glad that you're okay, though. I offered an overjoyed smile, happy that I was able to shield Michaela from the villainous bank robbers, even if it meant I had to stick around in this hospital bed for a few weeks. May I have the burp? Okay. Michaela's face contorts into a teary-eyed, nearly pained smile. I was so worried about you, Marcus. Michaela takes a deep breath, recomposing her gentle souled self, and gives my hand a firm squeeze. How are you feeling? Good, I'm sure that I'll be out of here in no time. Michaela grins happily at my enthusiasm and nods. Why don't you are, I'll have to pay you back for that ice cream. Oh? I was thinking maybe dinner at L'Espalier? Being one of the most expensive and fancy restaurants in Boston, I chuckled, giving her a stern look. I don't think an ice cream is equivalent to a 3-course meal, Michaela. She simply giggles, which brings a smile to my face. Well, we guess we can split the bill if you insist then. Alright, that sounds a little more fair. We just share a small airy laugh before Michaela's bag lets out a small beep, signaling she has a text message. Naturally, she reaches to check it, reading it over for a moment before a confused and rather annoyed look comes upon her face. Something wrong? Michaela paused, leaning away from the hospital bed and giving my hand one last squeeze before letting go. My parents want me home right away for something. Oh, well, don't let me hang you up. I'll be here when you manage to get back. I smile reassuringly as Michaela stands up. Speaking of parents, want me to call yours and tell me you're awake? Yeah, that'd be nice. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow after school, alright? Alright, I'll see you then. As Michaela leaves the room, I glance down at the palm of the hand she was holding, and noting that it's balmy as all hell, that my face is burning out. I was extremely nervous through all of that, but somehow managed to pull it off. I mean, Michaela and I have been friends since 9th grade, but not like this. I think, regardless of me being stuck in this hospital bed for the next 2 weeks, I'm happy with the fact I'm still alive and Michaela is safe. I rest my head back down and stare up at the white lights along the ceiling, reviewing everything that occurred over the past few days. Asking Michaela out, the date, getting shot, the doctor, holding Michaela's hand like that. It's all quite life-changing and, well, exciting. Within maybe 10 minutes of Michaela's leaving, my room's door crashes open and my mother hurls herself at me like a rag doll, nearly crushing my already damaged shoulder in the process. Oh, holy shit, that's too close. My baby! My baby! I spot my father over my mother's shoulder, even with her smothering into me like I'm a stuffed animal. Oh, it's good to see you too. After about 5 minutes of my mother crying and squeezing me to death, she finally pulls away enough for me to speak without being muffled. Hey, look at the dad. I'm fine, did the doctor tell you that? Well, you know your mother always overreacts. My dad smiles at my mother, teasing her, which she ignores. Honey, is there anything we can do for you? Can we get you anything? I shake my head, feeling pretty content with the surroundings of my comfy hospital room. I'm alright, just a little hungry. Sorry to put you guys through so much worry. The two of them smile weakly at my apology. You had me worried to death, but we're glad you're doing okay. She glances over to my dad for a moment, and they share a questioning look, as if they are silently debating something. Eventually, she turns back to me and places her hand on my leg, as if to comfort me. Anyway, we have exciting news. News? It's going to be a bit of change, that's for sure. Huh? Remember when you were complaining about how crappy your school was? Okay, they're explaining what I was wondering before. So he's gonna change schools and he's never gonna see Mikhail again, I guess. So that's how you meet the other girls, and that's how you forget about Mikhaila. Thank you, game. You draw away all my doubts. Yeah? I tilt my head, at least until I feel the jolt of pain that makes me bend it back properly once again. Well, we decided it's in our best interest to transfer you to a new school. What? We take your concerns about your education very seriously, so we had been looking for a better school over the past few months, and you were accepted to this one just a few weeks ago. We planned to wait on telling you, to surprise you in the summer. But we figured now would be the best time to hopefully cheer you up. You're going to a boarding school, isn't it great, Lonnie? I look at my father with a puzzled expression. Is this some kind of joke or something? No, sweetie, we're serious. Besides your education, we think it's very important that you stay safe. And obviously the city is no longer safe if you're getting shot up on the street. I need a break. In fact, we would move, but we're not financially in a position to just up and leave, so why not the second best thing? I give her a dull look. It was a freak accident, the city is safe. There have been almost 6 shootings just this month, Marcus. I turn my attention back to my father, hoping he will at least back me up on this. Your mother is right, Marcus. As much as I know you don't like change, as much as I know you don't like change, we want the best for you. And I have no say in this change. We know you will love the school once you get the time to check it out. Oh, stop with the close-up. Here, you can even check the website on my phone, okay? She leans forward, nearly pushing the phone into my face, emphasizing the point that the decision has already been made. Oh, I forgot to say, I think this game is set in the future, like 2020 or 22? Fuck, I don't remember. I don't know. Let's keep going. I growl loudly at both of them and take the phone, frustrated immensely by this. I just blankly stare at the screen, not actually reading any of the text due to my revulsion of the entire subject. A school transfer? Because my mom is worried that I'm going to be a victim of another incident if I stay in the city? Oh, I have to burp again. Boston has always been a safe city, at least for the most part. And now just because of one incident my mother decided it's best for me to switch schools? To a boarding school, no less. Which means I won't be home for most of the year, only on the holidays? There isn't any reason why I can't just stay in the city and continue going on with my life, dating Mikhaila, graduating next year, possibly finding a job for this summer. The concept of changing my life is repulsive. I finally feel like I got in a solid foothold on the direction I'm heading in, and they want me to change it? But my parents don't budge on the argument, so I decide to change the subject, just to keep myself from getting too frustrated. Whew. So much reading. They don't leave the hospital or my side until I've drifted off to sleep for the night. What about visiting hours? Don't they have visiting hours? Slowly but surely, the days pass and a wide range of people come and go, making my hospital room feel more like an exhibit hall than a recovery room. My parents, Mikhaila, classmates, teachers, news reporters. It's interesting, having so many people who I never really thought of as my friends. But because of some freak accident, I feel obligated to give me attention, at least for a little while. Each visit is a nice way to spend a good block of time, otherwise I'm busy thinking about the situation at hand. How I can change my parents' mind about this new school. In the end, the only thing I can think of as a solution is getting Michaela and possibly her family to agree with me, which might convince my parents that I am right, that things here are fine. Luckily, by the end of the 2-week recovery time, I'm finally able to walk out of the sterile smelling edifice with just a sling and a good deal of soreness to my shoulder. The moment I'm out of the depressing and mind-numbing structure known as a hospital, I coax my parents to drive me to Michaela's house. They agree, not knowing my initial plan of getting Michaela and her family to try and back my choice of staying in the city. It's a dirty trick, but it's my last resort. Nothing else I tell my parents will change their opinions. Whew. Once we arrived, I asked my parents to wait inside the car as I wiggle out of the front seat, twisting my body to avoid hitting my shoulder and arm against anything before opening up to the steps of Michaela's house. I give the door a few quick knocks with my uninjured arm and wait to see Michaela's pretty blue-eyed face greeting me. Unfortunately, I find that when she meets me at the front step, a scowl adorns her face, and a rather melancholy gloom resides in her usually lively blue eyes. She doesn't invite me inside, but instead closes the door behind her and stands in front of the doorway, looking at me with what I can only assume is pity. For a moment I wonder if, at the sight of the sling I'm wearing, she feels guilty about what happened and perhaps she has perhaps has blamed herself for everything. I guess I can't read for a long time. Hey, is something wrong? Michaela peers at me for a moment before letting out a small sigh and glancing behind me towards my parents and the car. I think you should take the opportunity to go to the new school. I stared at her for a long moment. I was not connecting inside my head for the longest time. How does she know about that? What? Why? It's best for you. What are you talking about? I'm fine here. We're fine here, aren't we? My mouth starts to dry up from the anxiety of the conversation digging a hole into my chest, which is starting to feel more and more empty as I stare at her. I swallow, forcing down what feels like a heavy ball of iron that sinks to the bottom of my stomach with a heavy crash. Don't you want to stay together? Keep dating? What's going on? Talk to me. I reach up with my uninjured arm, grasping the side of my head, nearly tempted to rip my hair out in frustration. What the hell? She visited a few times while I was in the hospital, and everything seemed perfectly fine then. What could have possibly changed? And how did she know about the boarding school? Did my parents get to her before I did? I'm moving, and I don't think it's worth getting even more attached to one another, if we're just going to end up halfway around the world from each other. What? You got to be kidding me. What kind of luck is this? First the whole accident, and now the only word to describe how I feel is pointless. It feels like my existence is utterly pointless, and the one girl who managed to like and pity me enough to go on a date with me is moving away. But why? I thought your parents liked it here. Do you want to leave? Michaela's eyes avoid mine with such ease I feel as though she truly did start dating me out of pity. We were best, if not really close friends, for all of high school. How could she not harbor even slightly romantic feelings for me after I explained myself? Is that possible? My cousin has a family-owned business in British Columbia, and well, my dad lost his job here, and my parents think the accident is like an omen, that it's time to start the next chapter of our lives. I'm sorry, Marcus. She forces out this smile, as if everything was perfectly fine, and this only makes me feel worse. Everything I had hoped for over the past few weeks vanishes within an instant, with just a simple explanation of the reality of things. My whole life feels like it just took a U-turn. I can't think of anything to say, so I just give her a firm nod, silently agreeing, even if I don't believe in the idea myself. Alright. I fall silent, the thoughts in my head bubbling and nearly floating out of my ears at this point. Eventually, I'm able to mutter out a quiet, morose toned goodbye, waving my hand in a dismissive manner, like I was tossing away a priceless relic that was no longer worth anything. I turn, stepping off Michaela's stoop with a heavy, shaking legs. What feels like a huge void forms in my stomach, emphasizing my empty, meaningless existence. As I make it back down to the sidewalk, Michaela's footsteps taunt me, following closely behind mine, which prompts me to look back, curious as to what the hell she wants. As I turn, I'm greeted with Michaela's body crashing into mine, her arms wrapping tightly around my sides and squeezing me tight. I'm sorry. I'm not sure what's more painful, the fact that my words has been ripped out from under me, or the fact that Michaela didn't even mention anything about moving while I was in the hospital. The sensation of her head nuzzling against my body in sympathy is enough to make my last nerve snap, causing me to gently push her off the chassis of my soul. It's okay. I'll talk to you later, I guess. Thankfully, she doesn't resist me gently pushing her away and takes the hint to leave, making her way back up towards the house. At least she knows how troubled I am by all this. With what little strength I have left, I make my way back to my car and open the door, slipping back inside to take in a few deep breaths. Are you two going to keep in touch? I grit my teeth and snap at her sharply, feeling like she had eavesdropped on our whole conversation, or maybe even planned it. No. My mother looks at me with a worried expression before glancing at my father in the back seat. The two remain taciturn and the car ride home is painfully quiet, leaving me to my own frustrated and depressing thoughts. I feel almost betrayed. Okay, and we're gonna stop here. Save? Yes. Okay, this is a really interesting visual novel. And it's free, you can check it out on Steam. Unfortunately, there's very bad reviews for some reason, but I think it's interesting. It really reminds me of Katawa Shoujo, with the whole getting in the hospital, changing schools, not how do you say that? Getting away from your lover. Getting away is not really the right word. I'm not. My brain isn't supplying the right words for now. Damn it. So, anyway, we'll continue this great story in the next part. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.